Germany 2, Hungary 0, and the Germans are guaranteed to progress through to the knockout stages of Euro 2024. Hit the like buttons. Make sure you are subscribing. Make sure bell notifications are turned on. That's a little bell button that's next to the subscribe button. Get that done. Of course, join our group chat now by scanning the QR code on the screen as well for all updates, links to all of our shows, etc., etc., etc. I've got to say I enjoyed that. I've got to say I enjoyed that game. Overall, very, very, very impressive indeed. Very impressive indeed. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. You almost felt the sort of cagey approach that Hungary had in their first game against Switzerland disappeared, and they attacked from the very first whistle. And they were very unlucky, really, not to get on the score sheet. When I say unlucky, some very good saves from Manuel Neuer, some very good blocks from the German defenders. But they really came out, went at it, tried to win, tried to get the 3 points. But the Germans, who certainly looked more vulnerable in this game than they had done at any point against the Scots, the quality shone through in the end. As they always say in life, generally speaking, you know, the cream rises to the top, form is temporary, class is permanent, all of those cliches, but they are typically speaking true. And that is what the Germans did today. And absolutely, you know, an absolute standout performer again in Musiala. Yes, he got the goal, which is exceedingly important at knockout competitions. Yes, it's the GA. Yes, it's a delivery. In fairness, that's been probably my biggest critique of him in the past couple of seasons. Whenever he's been raved about, is I wanted more goals, I wanted more assists, I wanted him to capitalize on the brilliant positions that he finds himself in, and he has done that in abundance so far in this tournament. 2 goals in 2 games, becomes the youngest ever player to score in the opening 2 games of a European International Championship tournament, and he's been brilliant overall. It isn't just a goal after a average performance, it's being the driving force of this Germany team, the best player on the football pitch. And I will say, so far, this is Musiala's tournament. And I know that some players have only had 1 game, he's had 2, but so far he's laid the benchmark. Musiala's level or above is how you've got to perform. I'm not talking about ability, I'm talking about performance and delivery if you want to have any chance of becoming player of the tournament. It's as simple and as straightforward as that for me. He was excellent. I thought Gundogan, again, had another top display indeed. And I think what was interesting is there was parts of the game where I was watching it and I was thinking to myself, have we been... Let's put my fan on. It's very warm today. Have we been a little bit hoodwinked by the first game? Have we had the wall slightly pulled over our eyes? Was Scotland just that bad, and did the Germans look really good? Because there were times today where they were opened up. There were times today where the shape of Hungary caused them problems. And I think 2 things, and I'd love to get your views, and I'd love to get your opinions on this. I don't think Germany are formidable or almost invincible or almost unbeatable. They can be got at. Chances can be created. But what this German team does have is character and brilliant individuals that can win them and or save them the game. So there's been 2 very different tests for them in the opening 2 games, and they've come out on top. In fairness, when Gundogan buries the 2nd goal, the game pretty much died as a contest. There was very nearly a late consolation goal for the Hungarians, which I would have liked to have seen because I was impressed with their approach to the game today. They just didn't have the overarching quality to capitalize upon that. But as with this entire tournament, I thought Albania, Croatia earlier today was also another spectacular game. It was another match that lived up to the hype of this tournament. It's another game, like the majority of them, where there's been end-to-end elements. Both teams on paper could have won. When you look back at the chances created, obviously the better teams invariably have won so far, but it's been an exceedingly enjoyable tournament. And I'm excited to see. We're going to get tomorrow, we're going to get Denmark, England, a really big clash. We're going to get Spain versus Italy. I'm really intrigued to see how the slightly bigger, more favored nations play against each other in these group stages. I really, really am. And I do hope that some of these, and I want to make sure I'm being respectful, small and footballing nations, I really hope some of them make it through to the knockout stages, because they, in my opinion, will make the knockout stages more fun. I've got a theory that if you do get England versus Germany in the next round, I don't even know if that's possible with the brackets, it will be cagey. But if you throw a Hungary, you throw a Turkey, a Georgia, these types of teams into those first round of knockout games, I think it's going to be all-out attack from both sides. So from a neutral perspective, as a football fan, that is what we want to see. It's for me, feels like my childhood watching football, where both teams go for it. And I've loved almost every single minute of this tournament so far. But as ever, look, I want to get your views. I want to get your opinions. The panel is going to be coming on very, very soon. Make sure you smash the like button if you've not done so already. Get that done for us. Make sure you're subscribed and turn on that bell notification button as well. If you remember, by the way, we put a little picture of our the new studio that's coming very, very soon. We put some sneaky pics up on our community page because some of the trophies have arrived today, which I've been waiting for ages because they have to make them and send them to us. But I'll give you a little sneak peek. It's going to go past the screen real quick. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it or not. Can you see it? Better make sure the picture doesn't change to something else. No, there's nothing like that on there, I don't think. But do you know what I mean? It's go check out. Just go check it out. Go check it out, people. If you're not a member, you won't be able to see it, but you should all be members. I ain't joking. If you can afford it, amazing. Super chat here from Jerome. It says, this is more impressive win for Germany than Scotland. I was certain they would struggle against Hungary. Havertz is rubbish. Fulkrug needs to start before him. Kai Havertz didn't have a good game at all today. I totally agree. I thought he was bang average in terms of his performance. But this is what I would say. They're going to rotate in the next game anyway. Maybe Fulkrug delivers loads there. You don't break up a winning team. And because of the way Germany have won both their opening games, they've been able to make changes early. They've been able to rest people. There'll be huge rotation for the next match because I don't even think it's possible. They can't even be. Well, Scotland, if Switzerland win tonight and then beat Germany, they could finish second in the group. So maybe it won't be whole. Let's wait and see what tonight's result is. If tonight's game's a draw, nobody can catch. Nobody, I don't think, would be able to. Well, Switzerland probably still could. They're on 3 points, aren't they? So let's just see what happens. But there'll be wholesale changes. If they're already guaranteed to progress, there'll be wholesale changes. But yes, I do agree. He wasn't great tonight. I will decide who is better out of Musiala and Bellingham by who does better in interviews and looks after his mum. That's really important to me. Look, I'm not. This tournament doesn't decide who the better of the two individuals are. That debate will only be ended near the end of their careers. The debate doesn't get ended because of a good La Liga or Bundesliga season, a good Champions League run, a international tournament now. What now does it? This is the legacy building. This is the argument building phase of their young careers. This is where and you know what Musiala has done, and I hope people remember this in case anybody says, well, tell me about games where he's delivered. The last two games, they're very small steps, but they're in what you can build up towards being legacy moments. Let's say Germany go on to win this tournament and he has another two performances like this in the knockout stage. It doesn't need to be the final that helps Germany go on to win it. Not only would he have the trophy, but he would have been influential in winning it. And in terms of legacy, when it comes to the comparisons that will inevitably happen to the Bellinghams and co within his era, within his generation, all of these things matter. And listen, I always shout out brilliance. And look, my little prediction before the start of the tournament, this would be Bruno Fernandes's tournament. It may very well end up being. But right now, I've got to speak the truth. It's Musiala's tournament as so far the standout player for me. But Bellingham turned up tomorrow against Denmark, scores again, performs again. Then they're neck and neck. And I like that. And I hope Bellingham sees it that way to a certain degree. Terry, who do I think is better? You need to define what you mean by better. Because you know I'm not an eye test guy in the sense of Musiala looks better on the eye. There's absolutely no doubt about it. His dribbling ability, I think, is superior. His tricks and skills and silks are better. But that isn't the only element that goes into this. You have to look at Bellingham and what he does in the central midfield areas. There's looking at the outputs that are important. And also you've got to look at the trophies that you have been influential in your team winning. And Bellingham has been influential in his team doing a La Liga and Champions League double. So I would say technically on the ball, I would say Musiala. Overall, right now, I'm still slightly siding with you, Bellingham, because his delivery, for me, has been higher. His delivery. And all those things go in. But I think they're both tremendous. I think they're both brilliant, but different. And I like that there's differences in between them as well. Bellingham is a glorified Lampard. Well, Lampard was amazing, though. So that's a bit of an L comment. I don't care what anyone says. Toni Kroos has been the player of the tournament so far, easily man of the match in both games. Toni Kroos is just ridiculous. And I mean that where I'm from, when you say somebody is ridiculous, that is a compliment. He's an amazing football player. He's absolutely out of this world. Delivery, what does that even mean? How do you not understand what delivering means in football? Maybe I'll rephrase it in a different way. It's about your performances based on the role that you were putting and your delivery towards your team's achievements. So Jude Bellingham turning up and putting in top performances, home and away, regularly throughout the La Liga season and the Champions League campaign, scoring gilt-edged goals to win them points and progress them through multiple stages of that tournament, or involved in the making of goals that's led to 2 trophies. That is delivery. And the reason why I mentioned delivery is really important, because eye test people will say based on ability, and when it's based on ability, it's very subjective and very hard to hone down. I believe in putting delivery, outputs, victories as part of the criteria to be the best, because that way it is highly measurable. I can't get out of it then. Because if we all just base who we think the best is on ability and subjectivity, you can never be wrong. And I think in these debates, there needs to be a barrier of entry where your opinion can fail. Like, I don't believe a manager can be considered a great, like one of the true greats, unless they've retained the league title and won a Champions League. The only anomaly I make for that is the man that's won 5 Champions Leagues, and that's Carlo Ancelotti. And I really hope he does back-to-back league titles with Real Madrid, because then it adds it. But I set that entry, that barrier for entry, because I think we could all wax lyrical about us, better diets and cutting out alcohol and this formation that the person invented, and he started inverting this and doing that. But there has to be some delivery based on that as well, surely. Usain Bolt isn't just considered one of the greatest athletes of all time because he was really fast. It's that he delivered in the major tournaments. If he was breaking records at the Diamond Leagues, but bottling Olympic finals, he wouldn't be considered the GOAT, even if he had the world record, because you can break that in any event. It isn't just about being the fastest, it's about the delivery. So that is what it means. I hope that makes sense to all of you. I thought it made sense me saying it in the first place. This here says Switzerland and Turkey are the dark horses of this tournament. They are both very good. I was impressed with both so far. You're right. I know Georgia lost yesterday. I'm excited to see them play again. They lost, but Austria, I don't think I know mugs. I don't think there are any mugs as well. All 3 of them, they could find themselves out of the group stages, and then it's knockout football. Who knows? So, yeah, I'm very, very excited. Look, I've got Mo, I've got Dio, I've got Giuseppe coming on and joining me now. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome. Another impressive game from Musiala and the Germans, Giuseppe.
Yeah, listen, Musiala's putting his stamp down on this competition, and he's kind of putting his stamp down on a lot of fans' opinions, because a lot of people that I speak to mostly like English football fans and stuff that watch the Premier League. So a lot of people don't actually watch much of Musiala, and they're actually now starting to realize how good he actually is. Now, he's got a long way to go. He's got a lot more to do. He's too young to really be judged. I agree with what you said about the him and Jude debate. That shouldn't even be a debate right now. They're too young. You're talking about guys that have only just started scratching the surface of football at a pro level. So why are we debating who's better right now? Just let them play their game and enjoy them both. But yeah, listen, Germany, another win. Impressive. I think another game where they haven't conceded the goal. I'd still say they did in the first game, an own goal. Really unlucky. I think they look good. I still think they're the favourites purely on the home advantage. I think their biggest struggle will be coming up actually against a team like Italy or something like that, that can actually sort of stop their attack and be very defensive against them, because that attack can outscore teams, in my opinion. And that, so if you haven't got a great defense, even the better teams, if they haven't got a great defense against them, I think they're gonna struggle. Like even France and stuff, I think France can be got at from what we saw in that. Italy can still be got at. Don't get it. I'm not saying Italy are, but they're known for being able to keep it tight for the whole game. I think Hungary looked good. It's a shame because they're not going to go through now, probably, because they've got no points in 2 games. So I don't know how the other groups are going to look, but I'd like a team like Hungary to go through, because I think it's been a bit. Switzerland are a good team, and I think that's going to be the test for Germany. When Germany plays Switzerland, that's when we're really going to know how good Germany are. Because if they go and smash Switzerland 3-0, then okay, this team is serious, because Switzerland for me is actually a decent team. They're actually like, I'd say they're closer to like the top teams than the bottom teams for me. Gundogan, again, quality. Tony Kroos, again, quality. These are older players. And the one thing I'd say about Germany, out of like a lot of the teams that I've watched in the competition so far, is they actually look like one of the most that look like an actual team. Like you're watching them and you're like, these guys, like, it's like they know how to play together, like they've been playing together. So yeah, listen, I've been impressed with Germany. Obviously, group stage is group stage. It's going to really see when they get out the group and that. But I've been impressed with them.
Yeah, they're not called the German machines for nothing. They're not called the German machines for nothing. So you know,
all guys.
That's your opinion, Mo. Germany looked good. Germany looked good today. Germany looked good today. Forget it. What standard are you trying to set for them? What standard are we trying to set for them here? Against the Hungarian team that, at least regardless of what it is, the Hungarian team is not a write-off. It wasn't going to be easy. This is in Scotland. It wasn't going to be a write-off. It was going to be a difficult game, and they did what they needed to do. I think they stepped up. I think they, and it's still the group stages. All you have to do in the group stages is make sure you rack up your 6 points. Worst case scenario, your 9 points, and then in the knockout stages, you amp your game up, one step higher.
So they weren't impressive. They just did what they have to do.
But they look good. They played well.
So you started by saying they were impressive, and then moving on from it, you said they did what they have to do. You amped so you weren't impressive.
Listen. You do what you have to do. They were impressive in the way they played. In the way they played, yes, they did what they had to do. They were impressive in the way they played.
Just a good
in the knockout stages. I said they now need to amp it up again in the knockout stages. That's what I said.
Mo, so, I don't think I'm not. By the way, I'm not trying to say like wow, Germany look like, oh my god, out of this world. But you got to say they look like a good team. And
I'm gonna tell you why I wasn't impressed. First goal, it was a free kick. 150% for me. There is no doubt in my mind. It was a free kick. It wasn't given. The referee made a mistake. Another Dutch referee thinks that he knows everything, but they don't. Another guy. We know that. We know the Dutch referees and their attitude, right? And it was a clear free kick. Gundogan literally, by the way, Gundogan knew it was a free kick when he went with his arm to the reps of the guy completely, right? It was a free kick. It wasn't given. They should have had a penalty by Emre Can literally playing the ball with his hand at the end. It wasn't given, but it was 2-0 at this point. Germany, I thought Kai Havertz was so poor today. Very poor in the game today. Germany just were all right in this game. Germany were all right in this game. But I thought Hungary created very, very good chances. Could have scored. A good block by Ta in that first half from the Sabos. Like great putting it down, getting it in front of him and trying to shoot. They had a lot of corners, right? Germany was suspect in defense. Every time the ball was played diagonal, Germany was suspect. That guy, Salah, on that left, the number 20 guy, was absolutely cooking. I saw Germany in the midfield were cut open a couple of times by the passes by Hungary. I didn't think Germany in the first half created enough goals. It should have been 0-0 in that first half. I thought this was like death by 1,000 passes by the Germans the majority of the time. Lorizani came on, was absolutely rubbish, right? The one that was only the guy, the saving grace for me was Jamal Musiala, as Terry alluded and you guys alluded. He was the guy that was direct, straightforward. Even Tony Kroos's passing today wasn't as good as the first game. These are the notes I took from the game. Tony Kroos missed some passes, right? Today, they weren't impressive to me at all. Rudiger got played on that left, on the right side for Germany by that guy again. Sabozlai was cooking. I don't know why people are just saying, oh, they were impressive. Jamal Musiala was the only one today. Gundogan as well. But the rest of them, they were just all right. They were right. I thought they were suspect. The whole game they were suspect until the last minute. That's the free kick.
I think where I agree with you is, I think I said it in my opening monologue, was they don't look formidable or invincible.
Thank you.
But that for me is beautiful, because so far I don't think any team, and they did against Scotland, and that's why I think this was such a brilliant game, because they've demonstrated they've got star quality. Manuel Neuer making saves, the defenders getting the blocks in. Of course, you mentioned Gundogan, Musiala delivering as an example. But what they also have is a vulnerability. I think we said this a lot about a few teams in the Premier League season. You can get at them. They're gettable. And I felt that most teams have been like that so far.
Yes.
But what's interesting about Germany is they have been tested. Look, Hungary are a decent team. They're decent. They're not rubbish. They're not amazing.
They're not Scotland. Derek Ray said that. Derek Ray, the commentator, the Scottish guy, he said it's a much better. Scotland should have done that in the first game. Maybe they could have gotten.
Yeah, something. I think Scotland, but then Hungary were really cagey in their first game. I think some teams do that at tournaments. They're cagey in the opening game, but we're still not going to get to see how good they are until the knockout stage of Germany. Because I know that if Switzerland win tonight, they also qualify, and therefore you will see two heavily rotated teams against one another. And you won't really see that game will be a little bit of a dead rubber in that respect, because neither of them can end up. They're both guaranteed to go through. So I've been impressed with Germany. I think they've been good, but I also think it's a dangerous sign that they're not at their best yet, because I don't think you want to start off at your best. I think you want to grow into the tournament, and they've had the opportunity to do that. So I do get the criticism where they've got to improve. And I do agree. I thought Sane come on. I mean, a lot of people are getting at Kai Havertz. He was poor and was taken off. Sane, I know Fulcrook came on.
Ship him home, to be honest.
But Sane came on, and Sane was absolutely pants, and that he really was. If you didn't know that was Leroy Sane, you'd have thought. Remember Bebe that used to play for Man United? It was like that. He was getting the ball and just booting it into weird spaces. He was really
the free kick was horrible. The free kick was horrible. He had an opportunity one time on the edge of the box where he literally just turned around, and instead of passing the ball like diagonally, he passed it back. They passed it back to him, and he just let the ball roll. Like he looked horrible as well. Kai Havertz, terrible game today. But here's what I was saying about this more. If you look at their stats, they were very close. The stats were, that's why I said they were impressive for me, because Hungary is not a team that rolls over like that. That team did not roll over. Their duels were very similar. In fact, I think they both won the same amount of aerial duels. They both won the amount of same challenges. Their success rate,
target as well, I think so.
Yeah, so it was very similar, which is why I said that was an impressive game coming from Germany in the first round.
Yeah,
like
that's why
I can criticize individual players and the team when they look bad. But if you're watching this game without knowing anything, you would actually assume, just by watching, it just looked like Germany controlled the game throughout. But you really have to look at it to see where Hungary was literally cutting through them. Like Germany looked like they controlled, like on the eye test, they looked like 90 minutes. It looked like all of them. Even the goal that, Kimmich cleared off the line, just to show you how unlucky Hungary were. That
I mean, on another day, I mean, there was a stop. I mean, a few people have taken the mick out of Szoboszlai. I actually thought Szoboszlai played quite well today for Hungary. To be fair, a lot better than that first game. There's a comment here that's really interesting to me that says any team. I think it's alluding to when I said there's been no team yet that's looked like. It says here Turkey. I think Turkey did play brilliant football. When you say I'm not talking rubbish, Turkey didn't look formidable in terms of or invincible. Georgia took it to them as well. It was an amazing game. Both were brilliant. They deserved their win. But before their third goal, I mean, Georgia should have equalized. So the point is I'm making, I haven't watched a single team yet in this tournament that I've looked at and gone, I don't see how anybody's beaten them. That is what I meant by that, my friend.
We agree with, so here's the thing. I am not comparing Germany. So if you're comparing Germany to other teams, yes. But I'm comparing Germany to the team that should be favorites at home. People in the chat, but there is no other team that is invincible. There is no other team that is, yeah, okay. So you will agree that all the teams are suspect, that the quality of this tournament are very close to each other. You wouldn't pick a winner if any team like from Spain, Portugal play Germany. You wouldn't pick a winner. But that's besides my point.
Everyone who's picking a winner right now, it's not so much guesswork. But you could pick any one of the top 5 or 6 nations and a couple of dark horses, and none of those are bad guesses. Plus, we've only seen most teams play one match.
Yes.
You sometimes don't really know until the end of the group stages. And even then, knockout football does weird things to people. It changes your mentality in a game. You don't have that comfort blanket of, well, if we lose today, we've got the next game to get ourselves through. It changes everything. But look, the Germans, the Italians, the Spanish, the big advantage they have, the Portuguese, is in recent years, they have been there, done there, and worn the T-shirt and got to these finals. And that will generally speaking, will stand them in good stead when it comes to those knockout games. But listen, they've said this is the tournament for youngsters, and we'll get onto that in a minute. But I also feel there's an opportunity here. I'm not saying we're going to get another Greece, but we saw it we saw Jordan make it to a final recently where nobody expected them to. We've seen Greece win the Euros before. I mean, this could be a year where a Turkey, where a team of that level, who are not one of the fancy teams to win it, goes very, very far indeed, because everybody's gettable. You've just got to take your chances. Morocco did it at the World Cup. They just took their chances in games. And that's the one thing that Hungary lacked today, was that killer touch in front of goal, because a slightly better team would have probably could have scored 2 or 3 goals against Germany today.
Yeah,
but,
100%.
But then you throw the argument, would Germany have been as open if they were playing a better team? That's why I think sometimes you put 2 and 2 together in these games and you can get 37.
Can we establish one thing for it? That was an absolutely entertaining game. I love the football, end to end. Both teams are not scared. Hungary were not scared going forward. They pushed players forward. Another entertaining game in the Euros. Another one that I absolutely got entertained by this game. Lots of, maybe not the top quality that we see, but to be honest, everyone was trying to score from both teams. You've seen midfielders going into the areas of Germany, into the 18. I thought it was a great game, to be honest. Just another entertaining game, the Euro.
I mean, Pep hasn't got his grubby little hands on the Euro, so that way, I mean, we all know that.
I do hear you. A few questions about the game. Their first goal, there's been a lot of calls from people online saying it was a foul from Gundogan. It was a nudge in the back of the Hungarian defender. Well, what did you all make of it? Do you think it was correctfully given?
I already said my opinion. I actually think it's a hand to the ribs, impeded the guy who had full control of the ball. He intercepted the ball, had full control. If Gundogan didn't trip him, didn't push him in the ribs, it wasn't shoulder. Go watch it again. It was a clear foul because the guy would have cleared the ball with ease. He wouldn't have tripped him. And by the way, don't tell me it's a contact sport. Contact sport, right, when it's shoulder to shoulder, when it's coming together. Gundogan literally led with his hand to the guy's ribs to impede him from standing his ground. Simple as that. What is this? It's not shoulder. Go watch it again.
To be honest, to be honest, on first watch, I was like, that's not a foul to me. But I need to go watch it again. Like, you know, I've been seeing a lot of people calling it, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I need to look at it a second time. I haven't looked at it a second time. But for me, I just thought
I was clear, Dio. It was absolutely.
By the way, I know. Like I said, I watched it.
Did exactly the same. At the first time they said the shoulder. On the replay, they said Derek Ray and the other guy. I can't remember who was commenting. I think Robert Green. They said, "Okay, this is clear foul." He literally pushed him to the ground with his hand. And for a defender that is in full control, I've seen this given 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10 times. I don't know what people are watching. They just want to say the goal was given. The goal was given. It was a mistake. Just go watch it again. Simple. Terry's watching it again. I know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I saw it in real time, I didn't think much of it. I do agree. The more I watch, this is the issue. The more I watch it, the more of a foul it looks.
Full advantage, Terry. Full advantage of the push to the ribs, because otherwise,
I totally hear where you're coming from. I'm going to put a still image up on the screen here. That's more what I'm actually focusing on. The issue is we're asking VAR to make quick decisions, and I think VAR has been brilliant at doing that. When you want quick decisions, it means you're looking at it once, maybe twice. The more I watch it, the more of a foul it looks to me. But we are asking VAR to not take that long to make these decisions. So I do see it from both sides, but just to put the still image up so everybody can see. I mean, it is clearly a nudge in the back. That's not shoulder to shoulder. That is a nudge in the back.
Yeah.
And the hand in the ribs as well. Like,
I mean, my feeling is this. If Hungary do this to Germany, does the foul get given?
The guy fell to the ground. It's very obvious. I thought.
And if any of us conceded, whether it's England or Italy at this tournament, whether it's Arsenal or Inter in the Champions League, if you had a player nudged in the back, we'd be asking for a foul, surely.
That's not shoulder to shoulder now. Now that I'm seeing this, I mean, like, but you know, in real time, because of the movement and the moving, you don't really like it. The angle I saw, it looked like he just bumped him shoulder. And I was like, boy, why is this guy going down? Get up.
And that leg, did you see the leg? Do you see the leg, Dayo? The left leg
I see it
is clearly impeding, then tripping the guy as well. And
I see it now. I see it now. Like, but that's still, and I can then, like, of course, what I watch now, I can imagine exactly what the full contact was. But in real time, when I saw it, I was just like, nah, that's not a foul. Get up, you're a defender. What are you doing? Like, you're a defender. Like, how do you're just going to be there and then they're just going to nudge you and you're going to roll over and be waiting for a foul. Like, dude, stand your ground. When they nudge you, let them fall down. Like, that's the way you're a defender. You're not a midfielder and attacker that you're looking for a penalty or anything like that. So, you know, but now that I'm seeing that, I think, I
thought it was the wrong decision when I saw it. And I'm like, it required couple of replays for me. And I'm like, okay, clearly it's a free kick. But again, are we asking, and I'm going to be the other side here, are we asking the VAR to re-ref the game? So I see the other point of view. Like, are we asking VAR to re-ref the game?
But I'd rather the right decision than a quick one. It has to be a right decision.
Yeah.
Like my thing is VAR is there. That's what I call the video assistant referee. Your job is to take the video, look at it from multiple angles, and then recommend to the referee to say, listen, what we are seeing here is a clear foul. You can go to the screen and watch it yourself. And then he can pause, he can go to the screen. This idea that we want VAR to be quick, I just don't like it. I'd rather the right decision is made. Now, if we don't have VAR, whatever the referee calls, I'll take it. Because referee as well could be looking here before he turns here in real time. He misses a second and he just thinks the player tripped and fell. Play on. I'll take, without VAR, I'll take whatever the referee does.
And the handball as well is the same.
But if we have VAR, if we have VAR, it has to be the right call. There's no reason for having multiple cameras.
To defend the referees and Germany, what I'm seeing a few people in the comments saying, a few people on socials while looking, is the player kind of swan dived and went down a little bit easy. And that I've seen that in the Prem this year and the Champions League, that can kind of go against you when the fall is theatrical, because it makes it look as though, well, there couldn't have been that much force and that much. So yeah, look, it was definitely a contentious one. Obviously, the goal was scored by Musiala, though, and I know it's sort of been mentioned briefly by everybody, but he's having an absolute standout tournament, not just with his brilliant ability and play, but he's delivering for his nation as well. He has been the key deciding factor. Yes, Toni Kroos and Gundogan have run the game from a central midfield area, but he has been the guy to break the deadlock twice. He's been the individual to sort of shore up these victories and get the most important goals in these games. He's having a bit of a dazzler, isn't he, Giuseppe?
Yeah, he is 100%. He didn't break the deadlock in the first game. It was Wirtz.
Oh, sorry. So got the second goal. So yes, he's got the second goal.
Yeah.
Sorry,
but he sent them clear. Second goal's arguably sometimes more important than the first goal. So that's just nitpicking. Yeah, I think he's having an amazing performance, an amazing cup competition so far. I think I really rate him, and he's such a beautiful player to watch. Like, just the way he plays is like reminds me of back in the day players. So I love watching him, and I think that this tournament's really gonna see him step up. And I think he is the one that's sort of taking the competition by the scruff of the neck. Right now, it's still very early. Once again, these guys are the only ones that have played 2 games, but he seems to be leading that race at the moment for young player of the tournament. He's sort of now passed it over, saying, "Go on, Jude. Now your second game, you do something again," or to the other youngsters in the competition, like Yamel and etc. So I think he's quality, and I think, do you know what it is as well? I do think there is that element of they've not played anyone. I do want to see him when they play a team that actually have a bit more about them, like a bit more. Like I think Switzerland, when he's in that midfield with Granit Xhaka, is going to be a great visual. Great to see how he deals with that sort of situation. I think he will, because he does it. I've seen him play well for club level and Champions League level, so I think he'll be good. Just on the penalty though, Terry, the one thing I will say on that is, do you know what? I think it probably is a foul, right? I feel like that is going to be a shoulder to shoulder if the player isn't trying to then block him off. Because he's put his arm out to block him off, then it's kind of gone under his arm. And I like to say the same thing with stuff in the box and out the box. In the middle of the park, does the ref give that as a foul? I'm not too sure if the ref gives that as a foul in the middle of the park. So is it then a foul in the box? Or did he go down a bit too easy? But it's nor here nor there. It's given, it's not given. We just got to move forward with it. I think it wasn't like oh my God, that was like, Jesus, how the hell is that not given? I don't think it's one of them. And I think I agree with you. The more you watch it, the more it looks like a foul. So it's either you get one thing of you're happy for VAR to look for 5 minutes and keep watching it, or you want them to look 2 or 3 times and then just make a decision quick. Plus, let's be honest, they're the home nation. They're always going to get a little rub of the green. They're always going to get that little thing that goes their way a bit more. So yeah,
well,
I want to go back to Musiala, if you allow me.
Sorry, we'll come back to one second. Typically speaking on that, they always state that when it comes to the football, that sort of the football vibe and the football fever that hits a country that's hosting, when the host nation goes out, it does take a bit of the buzz away. So I'm not saying they're going to cheat for Germany, and there's a lot of fans there, but when the group stage then ends, a lot of teams go home, and you kind of need the host nation to be in it. Like it does change everything when there's a home nation in it. But sorry, back to you, Mo.
So one of the things that because people don't watch some of the Bundesliga games and the Musiala, what you notice about the player is that he isn't your Odegaard or your Kevin De Bruyne. He isn't the most creative player on the pitch. He's kind of similar to Bellingham, similar to Foden. These are the new players that play behind the striker, that drive with the ball, that they tend to be more direct than trying to look for how may I assist you, as I said before. This is the Jamal Musiala. If you remember back in the days, Terry, Rivaldo used to be the guy, used to be that number 10 that score goals, not assist more. So he used to score more goals than assist in the season. That is different than the Odegaards and the Kevin De Bruyne. I think him, Phil Foden, and Bellingham are the new way of playing that midfielder, the guy that gets you 10, 15 goals and get you like 5, 6 assists a season, 20 goals and get you 5, 6 assists a season. These guys did not exist lately. Like this, there was the Ozils, there's the Modric, Odegaards. Now it's this new talent that direct. They look to shoot, they look to score more than assist, and it's just brilliant to see, to be honest. I think he needs to be compared more to Phil Foden because he's a dribbler like Phil Foden. Which one of them is more direct? Which one of them will benefit more from playing behind the striker? Not a typical number 10, but I'm watching Jamal Musiala, the way he glides past people, the way he shoots, the way he dribbles, the way he's so direct to the goal is compared to Phil Foden, which is why Phil Foden gets more goals than assists within the season, while Kevin De Bruyne gets more assists and Odegaard gets more assists. That's the thing I'm watching for Musiala. Can he reach the level when he be consistently a 20-goal midfielder? Frank Lampard. You watch Frank Lampard's season, every season 20-plus goals in all competition as a midfielder. Direct, looks to score more than assist. This is the guy, like, to be honest with you, it's like he's a brilliant footballer. I think he can be one of the best midfielders if he keep going like this. Plays for Bayern Munich, of course. They're going to win Champions League. They're going to win the league in the coming years. I think he can reach very, very high level. As a new midfielder that scores 20-plus goals every season, he's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, he's top class. Jerome here says, Mo, those Hungarians are big guys, and you were telling me a little guy like Gundogan could nudge him. He's clearly leaning on Gundogan.
Watch, Jerome, appreciate you. Go watch it again on the replay. Don't watch the images. Gundogan tripped him, pushed him with his arm to the ribs, and the guy tried to stay at his feet and at the end fell off. By the way, it wasn't theatrical. He didn't fall right away. He tried to stay at his feet to clear the ball and he couldn't. It's clearly a free kick. Stop it. I think you're trying too hard. It's a free kick. If this is Germany, it's given. If this is in the middle of the park, it is given if the guy has full control. Simple.
Also, if you played football, you know the big guy thing means nothing, mate. When you're running.
Yes. When you're running and you're intercepting the ball across and the guy nudges you, you're falling.
Mo, it's not a foul. It's shoulder contact. It's only shoulder contact is what Ben says here. Jerome also says, Mo, they still won 2-0 against a decent team like Hungary, and they were able to hold their ground. The only crap players in this team are Havertz and Sane.
That's spot on. That's spot on. But we give them praise for winning the game 2-0. I didn't think the performance was as impressive as against Scotland. Of course, putting the difference between the two teams.
I think the Scots made Germany better than they actually are, is what Jamie says here. But Jamie also states, he says that the more I see this tournament, the more open I see it. And it's true. It's great. We spoke about this, didn't we, Mo? Quite a few of the match reactions in the Champions League semi-finals, where we just said and the final, just two teams trying to win. And it's what this tournament's like. It's
Albania, Croatia.
Oh, again, and that doesn't mean that like, and this is where like you don't just judge that based on possession, because some teams will have more than the other because they're better on the ball. But both teams are going out there trying to win games. They're not trying to stink out a draw. And I think it's because of this third place thing. I think teams know if we get one win, it's almost a certainty you're going to go through to the knockout stages. So they're all kind of going for it. And Scotland up against Switzerland next. I'd love the Scots to win because it makes the group more fun. It makes it means Switzerland would have to try and beat Germany on the final group game, which makes so much more jeopardy, so much more quality going on. And, Hungary versus Scotland would then be an absolute shootout potentially as well. So loads going on there.
And you know what, Terry?
I'm sure there are teams that will get, I'm sure there are two teams, thirds that will get 1 point or 2 points. I think Terry's right. If you get 3 points, most likely you will go through. There is going to be about like two teams that will get 2 points as a third. And I think you put yourself in a bit. That's why Scots are not out. Scotland win today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but also, if you look at how like things have changed over the years, like almost every team in the Euros this year has some top player or the other. Like almost every country, Albania, like there's somebody in almost every team that you can be like, this person can make a difference. If you look back at the Euros back in the day, there's just a few countries you could say, oh, all the players came from those countries. All the best players literally came from like Germany, France, England, you wouldn't rate a lot of the other players.
Scotland has McTominay.
Do you know what?
But at least he has experience on the Premier League.
Do you know what I think's happened though? I think that there's no doubt that a few of the bigger nations are not as strong as they used to be. The Netherlands would be an example.
Yeah.
But I felt this for the last 10 to 15 years. I feel the quote unquote smaller nations are catching the bigger nations in terms of overall quality. They have brilliant shapes. They have brilliant systems. They know how to win. So the gap's closing. And I think that gap closing is so good for the tournament, if that makes sense. And as I stated, I'd love to get to the quarterfinals and see 2 or 3 of the quote, when we did our brackets on the top 6 show before, we got to the quarterfinals and went, guys, this can't be right. All 8 teams are like the top 8 teams. And I just don't see all the sort of top 8s in terms of the favorites all being in the quarterfinals. Someone's going out sooner. And that might just be because they get pipped to top spot and they have to play, the 2 of the big teams have to play each other in the next round. But we'll see. Look, I want to thank everybody that has tuned into the show. This is going to take you through to Hassam's channel for his watch along for the Scotland game. We're back after Scotland versus Switzerland for a bit of a match review, but straight facts, a late night edition of Straight Facts with Hassam and Mo for normal on a Wednesday. So we're going to see you live around 9:30 to 10 o'clock as soon as that game finishes. Boys, I want to thank you all for coming on and giving us your views and opinions. Super chatters, everyone has hit the like button. You're amazing. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you soon. Peace.